Good morning, Facebook. Thank you for all the incredible birthday love yesterday. I have a little bit of the travel, where I need to chug a lot of water and have my black coffee and have time zone and jet lag a little bit going on. But all in all, wanted to share just how I was able to navigate through travel yesterday, working at a business conference and meeting with different clients, and also sticking true to my Whole30 and having it be my birthday. So granted, I wasn't out celebrating, but I had people being very aware that it was my birthday yesterday. And personally, when you know it's your birthday, how do you still enjoy it and stick to your guns of the plan you set out for yourself? So my biggest concern was the travel, because I know that there's snacks, and if you don't go prepared, it can be very tempting. So I ate a full breakfast yesterday before I left for my flight. I had my sweet potatoes, I had my guac, I had my eggs, I had my chicken, and I made sure that I ate that before I got on the airport, and I wasn't hungry. So it's probably the first time I've gone to an airport and not hungry. And so when they brought by the snacks and people were eating, I packed an RX bar and a Bison bar that is an Epic bar, and that's Whole30 compliant. And I enjoyed that very much while people were eating, Doritos or other snacks. And I had black coffee as well as some water. So now I'm in this amazing suite at the Palazzo, and I'm doing work with my company, which has been really, really cool, a great learning experience, and we present this afternoon, so we've been working on that this whole time. But there's lots of amazing restaurants in Vegas. There's a lot of things to do. There's a lot of alcohol, lots of desserts. I walked around the Venetian yesterday with some downtime and was just looking at the gelato and, all the things that were available. But it wasn't tempting. It wasn't something that I know was even an option. So because of that, I felt pretty free and empowered to not be tempted. So I think that there's a lot of freedom with Whole30 and not just knowing what you're not going to have, not having dairy, not having sugar. You just, kind of tune those things out. So whatever day I'm on, let me see. I started this 7, 14, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25th day. I'm on my 25th day, which is fantastic. So while I've been here, I've had salads, I've had grilled meats, I've had grilled steak, I've had grilled chicken and a Cobb salad with vinegar, I've had black coffee, I've had soda water with lime and cucumber and orange. And so there's some non-alcoholic beverages where you can maybe make sure that they don't add any sugar. So right now I'm like chugging water because, if you can tell, I'm a little puffy and, and I don't have time for that. So I have my black coffee and I was just chatting with my coworkers on just how helpful it's been. And I will say that when it's your birthday, I got a little bit of flack from a client, which is all in good fun. I mean, people are going to give you flack regardless. They're going to give you a hard time regardless, just for rapport and for fun. So if they give you a hard time about your diet, just know that that's generally more about them and just something that they're either trying to relate to you or have fun with you on, and not take it personally. Because when you're convicted about what you want in life, and when you're convicted, hey, things are joining and liking, and when you're convicted about what you want, you don't really care what other people think, and you can laugh it off or explain your situation or not explain your situation. So I feel really empowered to share why I'm doing this. And because of that, and because of the success I'm having, and because I'm not craving sweets like I normally would, and I did get an amazing fruit basket from my team and management, which was really cool, and I had that in the room, and water and some RX bars, and the steak I ate was pretty delicious last night. It was 8 ounces. So I think, I'm not sure if it didn't have added sugar. I asked, but at the end of the day, it was very, very good, and maybe a little bit too much meat that I needed, but it was still pleasurable and still compliant. So I'm still very aware of when I'm eating maybe a little too much, but I was full, satisfied. And now, going to have this next day with travel, etc., just sticking to plan: vegetables, fruit, grilled chicken. Yes, you're a bit of that high maintenance person that you're requesting to go a place like, I just need a salad potentially with, grilled meat and grilled vegetables ideally. And there's options everywhere generally, unless you're going to like super, super dive bar food. And that's what you just have to be empowered enough to be like, I would really appreciate if we didn't go to a place like that. And I will say, maybe you don't have the most supportive people in your life, but if you really explain why it's important to you, and you're not coming from a place of lecturing, then you may really get more people on your side than you think. So because people know how important it is to me, because I put myself in a place of leadership as a fitness, health and fitness entrepreneur, health and fitness leader, health and fitness coach, health and fitness instructor, people know that that's really important to me, and I've done that on purpose. It's no secret that I struggle with this stuff. I've struggled with stuff. So, if you can't do coach kind of a thing, but I don't necessarily believe in that. But if you are struggling, maybe put yourself in a position where you can't turn back and have to walk the walk. And that's really helped me. So I've given myself permission to make those hard choices. And thank you for joining. And if you're watching, I would love to hear, where you're joining from, and any questions you may have, just comment below. But this is probably my first birthday without cake, which is crazy. And even my first birthday without saying, hey, let's have cake when I get back. So next week my mom might make, because I'll be off of the Whole30, but I still want to stick with this grain-free, dairy-free, sugar-free stuff. And she may make something out of dates and fruit and approved resources, which is super cool because my body really does respond incredibly well to that. I'm a little nervous because I have travel here right at the end of my Whole30, which I think could throw off results. So the vanity side of me knows that I've been working really hard. Yeah. So if you're convicted about something, birthdays you can still totally enjoy. So you don't need to necessarily have cake at all, right, Jacqueline? So what I wanted to share was just, that whether you're in an airport, whether it's your birthday, whether it's your 1-year anniversary, if you are convicted about what you're doing, you don't feel like you're missing out. So don't ever do something if you feel like you're doing it for the wrong reasons and that it's not something that you're choosing to do and that you're not excited to do, because it will build resentment. Now, if you're coming from a place of excitement and you know why you're doing this and you're empowered and you're excited and you want to share it with the world and you've got a plan, I don't feel like I'm deprived because I can have sweet potatoes. I don't feel deprived because I can have guacamole. I don't feel deprived because I can have delicious fruit. And I was talking about this with my coworker. He cleaned his slate. He quit sugar totally and even a lot of fruits. And then when he had a cantaloupe, it tasted like a Snickers bar in his, in his mind of the sweetness. And I can relate to that. Vegetables taste sweet to me. Which have in the past, but like especially so, like tomatoes and broccoli just taste amazing. And I've always liked them, but to a next level. Fruit is delicious. Fat, like olive oil, guacamole, and almonds and that kind of stuff I really appreciate. So there are still very pleasurable experiences in your life. I love a good, robust black coffee. There's still plenty of comfort going on, but I'm not finding myself itchy and highs and lows of energy and blood sugar. So I'm definitely going to share my results with my energy and what I've come away with this as. But I'm pretty damn proud that I traveled, I had a 1-year anniversary, I had a birthday, and peer pressure to me is totally out the window anymore. But in the beginning of my health journey, it was a little bit more nerve-wracking to me. So you just have to, if you're like me, you need to have a good, clear why, and then when people give you a hard time, you can, just sleep at night because you're empowered by your choices. And then you might be surprised how much people support you. So because I've been so public with this and, again, put myself in a place of leadership, people couldn't have been more supportive, and they just know why I'm doing it, and they even, maybe they're considering doing it because they've been watching me along. So thank you, Jessica. Exactly. And people feel like, oh, you might be missing out, et cetera, but I really enjoyed my birthday. Granted, I'm working on my birthday, but I've got this incredible suite. I'm in Las Vegas. I have the opportunity to present at this conference today, and it's going to be exhilarating because presenting in front of people is always nerve-wracking. I have the pleasure of all of the well wishes you guys sent me, and sweetness and balloons, and there's just so much fun that comes from a birthday. This doesn't have to come with sugar. And if you don't have the guilt, I applaud you. I definitely have the guilt when I eat certain ways, and I think that's just because of how aware and self-aware I am of what it's doing for me and why I'm staying away from it. So I take that back. At the end of the day, I'm glad I know and I'm aware, because when you're aware, it's just like, being deliberate with your choices. So if you know it's bad for you and you're doing it, that's a whole different conversation. And you should probably not feel the greatest because you want the best for yourself. If you're doing things on purpose and you're happy that you're doing things to hurt yourself, that's a different conversation, right? So if you love yourself and want the best for yourself, making the right positive choices are important. So I really wanted to share, packing your snacks before time, packing stuff in a not carry-on, the opposite of a carry-on, where you check your luggage and you can have your food with you. I brought my Shakeology, absolutely. I'm going to have that here in a little bit. I had that yesterday, and I was really held over. I wasn't hungry. I wasn't tempted, and it's really freeing to pass up those expensive snacks in the airport. It's expensive food and liquor in Las Vegas. Granted, my steak wasn't cheap, but I will say I'm saving a lot of money. I'm saving a lot of energy. I'm feeling really empowered. There's not a lot of fluff. And again, I did this to eliminate distraction. I did this to eliminate things that were pulling at me that weren't serving me. And by not craving sugar, it's been really helpful. So last night, I will say, when I got back to my room, and it was after a salty steak, I do think that there's certain meals that have especially a lot of flavor in steak. That steak was so good and salty that it provided a craving. So I had my RX bar when I got back, and I knew that was kind of a sugar dragon treat. So I wanted two, and that's something that, you just have to learn about yourself, and if it's compliant and Whole30 approved, totally understandable. But I think it's even more impactful to understand triggers and the things that might make you want to have more than what you need. So what's hunger and what's a craving and what causes you to want certain things, and a lot of that comes down to what you put in your mouth and the sleep and the stress in your life. So I could ramble on and on and on, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to beat myself up about a delicious steak and 2 RX bars. Like, that was still very compliant, and I'm not going to be super hungry this morning because I did eat a lot. And granted, yesterday when I was eating that, it was 3 p.m. or 3 a.m. Indianapolis time, so I could have been hungry. I'm just kind of talking this stuff out. But again, pack your snacks, be convicted, be empowered. You can sleep at night when you're really proud of what you're doing and you don't care what other people think. And you may, and what I've learned over the years, that if you're freaking out about it and feel really self-conscious about it, it's something that you have to come at peace with yourself. So if you feel self-conscious, you're doing this for the wrong reasons, and you think people are attacking you for doing this for the wrong reasons, then you might at your core feel like you're doing it for the wrong reasons. When I know I'm doing it for the right reasons and have every ounce of my being feeling good about it, when people question me and give me a hard time, I kind of just laugh it off and, don't take it seriously, because it's not about me. It's probably about them. And they're probably joking anyways. So that's my information. I've got a whole nother day to get through, but it doesn't feel that hard. It doesn't feel that hard. And granted, there is a juice bar downstairs. Granted, there's fruits and vegetables. There's places to get salads. I think I could struggle if I legit had no access and was in like fast food row, so take that with a grain of salt. But if you do find yourself in a totally uncompliant situation, you can make sure you research and prepare for those things. So it takes a little bit more planning, but in the long run saves you a ton of energy, saves you from feeling like you're all over the place with your sugar cravings and just mood and fluffiness and inflammation. And I look forward to continuing to share this with you guys. We have another trip coming up, and what's funny is that I'm not the best at math. So I knew we had 4 weeks before Punta Cana when I did Whole30. I didn't know we had 28 days was 4 weeks, not 30. So I'm going to navigate, if I'm going to have a glass of wine, or when I start my reintroduction phase, if I'm going to do Whole28 or if I'm going to do Whole30, and still do it throughout the travel. I feel so great that I might. So we'll see. But I'm really enjoying it. I had an amazing birthday yesterday. I also have a lot of freedom in knowing that I'm going to be celebrating it, in Punta Cana with our 1-year anniversary and my birthday, and then just knowing that I've worked really hard for this trip, and my husband gets to go with me, and it's going to be an amazing time. So thank you guys for listening. I would love to know any questions you may have. If you're considering Whole30, granted, I'm doing Whole30 with Shakeology still. That's something I firmly believe in, and I believe has really helped me. So want to chat with you about it, would be happy to chat with you about it, and all you have to do is message me right now. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.